So here we are. We are at the Tsuzuki PA, and we are here with, to me, a very special car here today. So this is my dad's old Roadster. He built this in the 90s, or late 90s, early 2000s, but the current owner of it, Hoshino-san, has kept it nearly identical to the way my dad has built it. The quality in this thing, when you compare it to the US cars, is absurd. And the attention to detail as well as custom parts made for this car is amazing as well. So I think we should start off by the most important and awing part, which is the engine bay. So what we have here is I think it's believed to be a 2-liter. So it's a 1.8 that's been bored up to a 2-liter, made by Bright Logic. And unlike most cars that run ITBs, this one is running 44 Mikunis. Now you may be asking yourself, why Mikunis? And that is because back when this was built, ITBs were still very expensive, and so Mikunis and carburetors were actually cheaper to run. So that is the reason why we are running Mikunis on this thing. Other than that, it's custom catch can made by Bright Logic. I believe these headers are Maxim headers. These headlights are made by Barchetta, and these are very, very limited. All these drag carbon pieces are also made by Bright Logic, and these adjustable cam gears are Toyota cam gears. So, and it's a custom billet metal cab. This thing is just absurd. It's definitely more rev happy now, and it shows. I mean, stock radiator still perfectly fine. But yes, this forward valve cover is actually what was it off of? It was off some Ford vehicle when Mazda and Ford were still together. This catch can is also pretty cool because it's running straight to the bottom, so when you need to dump it, it's just a little valve at the bottom that needs to be dumped. But yeah, that is the engine bay for you guys. This still has power steering. It still has AC, I believe. So it's still a fully kitted car in that sense, but it's fully functional. It's used as well. Now up in the front, we have a stock R-lip, and then this is made by Brightening. This is a bumper duct, and so the use of this is essentially to run more air to the radiator. And then we got aftermarket turn signal intakes. I'm not completely sure who they're made by. I'm assuming Brightening or someone in that sense. And then one new thing that's been added to this car are the flares. Now I think these are Brightening / Jetstream flares, so they don't widen the car too much, but just a good amount. And then these wheels, and the wheel setup as well as the brake setup's new as well. So these are Workmeister S1s with Wilwood bigger brakes up front. Perfect setup. He's running metallic pads, so you hear it inside the clip of this car running. And then these are custom mirrors made by Brightening / Bright Logic as well. This is dry carbon on the outside, and then billet. This is all billet. So crazy stuff. And then the inside is where it gets crazier. So this car initially was based off an M2 1028. So when my dad bought this car, it came with all the rare parts. So it's got a 1028 center console, or a tombstone, and it's got a 1028 carpet and the shift boot little ring as well, which is pretty hard to find. And in terms for seats, we are running two, I think these are Zeta 4s, and these are in immaculate condition. It's amazing. And then if we come inside, this car is running a stack digital gauge. So this allows them to do a lot more stuff, as well as it allows you to keep the most important part of the car, but then also allows you to monitor the temps as well as your speed and that sort of stuff as well. Other cool stuff on this car is the Macintosh head unit. That's pretty cool. These switches are made to auto power the windows up and down, so that's pretty cool. That my dad did that as well. And then the doors the door cards are made out of carbon fiber now. These are also made by Bright Logic, and these are insanely cool. As well as these door pulls. These are, I think my dad made these themselves, and he just got this machine by Bright Logic. And then in terms of here, this is not something you see very frequently. So stiffening this chassis was a major thing my dad wanted to do. And so this essentially acts as a stiff point for the A-pillar. And so I got one of these for my car, so this is going to my car as well. But this is not to act as a roll bar. He's got a half cage here. That's a carbine Okayama roll bar. But yeah, so this is made to stiffen the chassis, which is cool. That's all custom made. There's only about 20 of these made. And this car also has a blue soft top that has been swapped out, and then an OEM hard top as well. So that's pretty cool. And then underneath the car, I think he's running Garage 101 chassis reinforcement bars. So that's the ones that go on the frame rails. So he's got that as reinforcements. That got welded in. And we have Zoom gas cap, as well as these are Altezza style taillights that the housing has been blacked out on. So they look a little different than OEM. And then this finish panel in the rear has been changed to a European one. So you know how Europeans have the longer plate, so they have been running, my dad changed out to European one, a little bit more different. Got a fog lamp in the rear, and then the center exit, these pipes were, what were the exhaust? Yoshimura. So these are essentially bike exhaust, but made to fit this car. And so that's pretty cool. So yeah, the quality in this car is insane. We also have the HVAC panel. The little back plate has been completely made new. We got different shift boots, handbrake is different, and then he also has the tuning pads for the Z2s, which these seats are, I mean, to find in this condition is just insane at this point. And then the steering wheel has custom hub, and then the little red buttons on there are now the horns made for it. And then the rear view mirror has a zoom blue reflector on it, other tiny pieces, as well as this map light, as well as, if you see on the outside, it's got a little shade, little screen shade, which is a nice little touch. It just attaches on the inside of the car. And for the hood, what we're doing here is we're running little spacers so that air comes out a little bit easier. But overall, this thing is kept the way my dad left it about 17 years ago. So that's a Trust oil cooler. So that's older, more vintage as well. But this is goals. The honor of driving this thing now, so we'll get to see how it goes. And yeah, we'll go to that GoPro footage now.